Okay, we're gonna get started. Welcome. Happy full moon in Sagittarius. Okay. We've been talking about this energy for quite a bit now. Just a bit. When I be telling you about the Sag vibes when it comes to collecting information, and there's an opportune moment as to when that information is going to be disclosed. Yeah. I'm talking about the roots. Picnic, that whole moment right there. I told y'all this the previous live. I said, especially a sun and rising Sagittarius, we've been so patient with people, their nonsense, their bullshit, to the point where we can sit there, just collect receipts until it's time. Even if you are, everybody has Sagittarius in their chart, everybody has a ninth house, which is the area of where I'm not going to say go above and beyond. Well, it can come across that way, but not in a stressful way. But more so you going above and beyond in the sense of, okay, you're looking at the whole entire meaning of what it is that you are experiencing, especially when it comes to people communicating with you, about you, or towards you. There's many ways of going about that shit. Yeah. So this energy right now is the prime example of the feeling of ancestors praying for or manifesting a version of themselves and generations before them when it comes to something that's going to clear the bloodline by seeing things exactly as it is for what it is, which is going to help you to make the best decision possible. While the one that's in that time frame carrying that energy of what it is that they, in their perspective, depending on the experiences that they've gone through generations before you, hoped for. But the hoping is what prevented them from actually utilizing what it was that they were hoping for. Because as long as they were speaking it, they were able to bring in a different reality. But now you come up, your generation comes up. Your generation, in the sense of, you're here right now where we have planets in place that hasn't been there for at least, let's sum it all up, the 1700s. A lot of these esoteric occult books that have most of the information that people would have to pay plenty for are books that are from the 1700s mainly. Not only, but mainly. Saying that to say a lot of y'all have information within you that you don't have to have that book right in front of you. You're an embodiment of all of that that's been coming into place from the time that you was born. The reason why I'm saying this too, the way this is coming out, because the first three cards that came out was baby, child, happening now. But look at, however, not but, look at the images themselves. Okay. This is given the energy of, okay, this is pretty sure this is a baby girl. That is a baby girl. That's a baby girl right there. Now, I'm looking at this from an energetic perspective, more so as the feminine energy that has been suppressed from this age, from when one was a child, let's say starting from the moment that they could speak. A lot of things that you were told not to do as a child had something in connection to a belief system. Now, if you kept on with that belief system without questioning it, a lot of the struggles that you're experiencing right now has everything to do with the fact that you haven't questioned those belief systems that are not actually connected to you in a way that's going to help you to progress in this life, this current timeline of your life. And it's also happening now because this is also giving the image of the 10 of cups, Mars in Pisces. But what that's saying is also is that whatever it is that you're imagining now, you have to take the actions, the steps to bring that into fruition, bring it into your life. It's one thing of having an idea and it's another of taking action on it. Obviously, you already know that. If you can read, you know what I'm talking about right now. Okay. Now, the thing about this full moon and why it's really not a normal full moon, especially in the sign of Sagittarius, which is why when people are utilizing um expressing astrology through the constellations, you miss the gist of everything that's happening at the moment that it's happening. One is not greater than the other. They work hand in hand. So when people are separating them because of the lack of knowledge, this is when you got people out here looking crazy as hell because they don't know what they talk about. However, let's continue with what we talk about over here. Okay. We do the tropical. Not throwing no shade at you if you connected somebody to do sidereal, but this is why you on the side of the real shit. You're not experiencing it, which is what you came here to do as a soul having a human experience anyway. A perfect example of what sidereal is basically saying that because it's summertime, the whole season of summer, it's been June. But then you have June, July, and August, right? Tropical allows you to experience June, July, and August. When you're just susceptible to astronomy and astrology, two different things, but they work hand in hand. They're not supposed to be against each other, is what I'm saying. If you're going to experience this game, it's 9:55 right now. That was the exact coordinate placement of the full moon. 9 degrees, 55 minutes. Huh. Because it wasn't just a lunar event, it was literally a full spectrum truth initiation that was moving through the body, your voice, your value systems, your ancestral roots, your intimacy field, public messages, collective timelines. You think that shit ain't shit in this world of coincidence. So the fact that the first uh performance of that Roots picnic was in Philadelphia, love of the Oracle. Philadelphia in itself has a strong connection to oracles. Very strong. Literally is defined as the love for the oracle. None of this is a coincidence. What's that movie called? Was it Enemy of State? Let me make sure, because the one with Will Smith. Enemy of State. I've been saying that shit all the time. You can either use astrology so that way the people that are using it don't use it against you, or be ignorant about it and now you're sitting here struggling because you choose to. It came out in 98. Let me see. Yeah. Enemy of the State. State of mind. State is just a mindset. There's that for you. So this whole full moon was just on a whole different level when it comes to, okay, now you got all the information. So now that you got all the information, what story are you going to tell about your worth? What do you know you own within yourself? Because it was also connected to the eighth house if we're just looking at someone born with that chart in that specific moment. Because the story is not enough. Or what you were told about past generations is not enough. Now, what's going to be more than enough is when there's certain truths of that past and you face them. Literally, with the coffin at the bottom of the deck, with unexpected income, imprisonment, and privilege, that came out. Making mature, wise decisions, making mature, wise choices, because you're utilizing your emotional maturity. You're allowing yourself to really connect to your intuition before it makes sense. Because this is not surface emotion type of full moon either. It's hitting on all levels of intimacy, energetic cords, hidden contracts, shared money, because it had a connection to the eighth house as well. Sagittarius is the energy that brings forth truth and prophecies and things of that nature, belief systems, higher laws, spiritual teaching, freedom, doctrines, and meaning. So this full moon is actually revealing where belief has been living inside an emotional wound. Just because, from a third dimensional perspective of expressing this language, just because it's not easy doesn't make it obviously something that is undoable. It's up to you to decide how you're going to move through that. Because it's not only asking about what happened, it's asking, you know, what meaning was attached to what happened, really, as to why you're unable to see what's being revealed to you in regards to where belief has been living inside an emotional wound. It's what I told you on the previous live. A lot of people that's been messing with the energy of Sagittarius, especially an awakened Sagittarius the past 7 to 8 years, now they're going to see exactly why that's not something you do. No, this is not solely a Sagittarius reading, but it's the full moon in Sagittarius. And Uranus is in Gemini, which means there's a lot of things that a Sagittarius is going to say that's going to come to fruition. If it's an awakened, highly awakened one, be mindful as to how you treat these people. Or handle them, rather. Because the next 7 to 8 years is not going to be that pleasant. This is not the time to be fucking with a Sagittarius that sits there and knows the essence of the Bible and read Psalms, and you're going to sit here and play in their face. Go ahead and play in their face. You're going to play in your own face. Because at that time, the Sagittarius is going to give you the mirror to look at yourself. And I digress. Because this full moon is showing you where fear may have become a belief, where betrayal may have become a doctrine, where a financial wound may have become some type of identity, a sexual wound may have become a boundary distortion. There's a lot that's being pulled out of eighth house matters and exposing it through the Sagittarius moon right now. Sagittarius is not on some, okay, let me seek emotional captivity. No. Sagittarius is all about aligning with the truth that restores movement. And this type of freedom is coming from, not from escape, it's coming from entering the hidden chambers and naming exactly what still has power so you can change it and shift it. One thing about Sagittarius in regards to the body, it activates the hips, the thighs, the liver, movement, beliefs, and instinct for expansion. Now, Gemini, which is where the sun is, it activates the lungs, arms, hands, shoulders, nerves, your speech, and your thought patterns. I don't know where you hop, skippity, jump into what dimension. All of it does. Anyway. This is the energy of not so much misunderstanding chaos as a release, because one thing about a Sagittarius energy is that when it comes to magic, we're very chaotic, chaos magic, which means we'll get into something that others won't get into just for us to utilize the information that we have and the meaning that we have with when it comes to life in general, that enlightens an entire situation. So basically, we don't follow the rules of what this belief system says to do, this belief system says to do, which is why we get a lot of backlash from people that go through initiations. Go through your fucking initiation. I'm not judging you, but don't come over this way misjudging the energy because you feel as though we're supposed to go on the same path because of whatever information. The only thing that one has to do is have respect for the unseen realms, have respect for energy in general and elementals. However, it takes levels to really get to an understanding of what I just said. It's not something you get big headed with either. Okay. You have the planet that rules Sagittarius, Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, as well as Venus in the sign of Cancer. Venus is an energy that desires sanctuary in this type of energy. A home that restores the nervous system. And for that to be restored with this full moon energy, it's again, you know the truth that's being presented to you. Are you taking the proper actions when it comes to that? Because a lot of people are very susceptible to just holding themselves back when it comes to a truth that they understand, but because the reality that they live in, it's not conducive to what the external is saying about the way they move, they won't make the adjustments. It's another thing about this Sagittarius energy. It's not about what others think of you. It's about what you have expanded on within the information within yourself, so that way you can now sit there and be who you are supposed to be, regardless of what anyone outside of you says. You know, oh, this doesn't align with this doesn't align with that. A lot of times, a lot of people are believing shit that they have no understanding about. So if there's anything in this world that does not align with this and doesn't align with that, it's someone who is connected to a belief system and doesn't actually understand or know what it is that they're believing in. I mean, to the core of it, though. Because the fear to tell yourself that you are in alignment to source, God, universe, however which way verbiage you decide to, whatever it is that you decide to utilize, and you are also connected to the fear of it, that shit is not normal. It's not strange either. It's not weird. It shouldn't even be a thing. That's just as great as you saying that you fear love. So another prime example as to why when people are carrying these certain belief systems, and then on top of that talking about, oh, they're fear God, whatever this and whatever that. A prime example of you believe something but have no knowledge of it. The moment that you say you fear something that is connected to uplifting you, are you actually connected to it? It's a rhetorical question because the answer is no. Got so many people out here talking about, oh, God is love and God is this, but then you have a fear of it. Then you wonder why relationships are the way that they are. Now, when you get to a point where you're in a position to actually be the proctor of someone's karmic lesson, yeah, you may encounter someone who carries that. They may not verbally express that, but their actions are going to match that expression. Now, it's up to you as that proctor. In that instance, that will be someone cheating on an exam. by not knowing exactly what they're doing. So they're coming in here taking an exam that they're not even supposed to be taking, and now they're just sitting here saying whatever it is that they want to say that's not in alignment to what the exam is. And now being around a proctor that understands and sees patterns and recognizes them, that's an automatic fail. It's more of a parable in the most descriptive way just now. I've been feeling that vibe for a good, I'll honestly say, yeah. That's about 8 years. Because I was about to say 2018. So a good 8 years. Been feeling that vibe of right now. There's going to come a time where the ones who are really true to this, they tend to be quiet, selective. You may hear them express themselves from time to time. Now, unleash the dragon. That thing is out of there. Out of there. There is no more holding back. Now, with the energy of a full moon in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius says, I see that arrow has been fully released and it's chasing the fuck out of people now. For fun, for a little bit. Especially those that had a lot to say and didn't know what they was talking about. That's why it's important to mind your business. That's why it's important for people to mind their business. Straight up. Ooh. Mm-mm. Lilith is still in Sagittarius too. Lilith in Sagittarius naturally is the energy of a forbidden truth teller. An energy that refuses doctrine, spiritual control, refuses spiritual control, refuses sexual shame, refuses to make one's knowing smaller for social comfort. 2211 right now, 1011. You ain't no coincidence with Jay-Z popping out right now. None at all. None at all. And the full moon, by the way, was at 4:44 Eastern Standard Time. Don't he got an album with that same title? A song of the sorts? A song? And 44 is an energy of when all four corners are in their marks. That full moon is also connected to the royal stars' energies being in their actual spaces, especially with Antares and Aldebaran. Antares connected to Sagittarius, Aldebaran connected to Gemini. So it's a lot of illumination, especially for those of you that are Sun and Sag risings. It's a lot of illumination when it comes to your purpose in the public eye. It's going to bring a reactivation where people felt as though, oh, you slacking what they doing. They should never been doing what they was doing because they changed their whole life around. They should have kept doing what they was doing before. They would have been better off. People at the point right now Where what's gonna fuck them up the most is the fact that they had a connection to you in the past, and instead of them speaking of you from the essence of, oh, they told you not to make these type of moves, or they was against you and all this other shit. Now you just somebody that I used to know. They're gonna be real hype about telling people, yeah, I used to know her. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I used to know him. Da-da. As a warning, that's the Sagittarius is the one sign you don't do that with. Cause we gonna watch you the entire time and clock your ass, and there's gonna be a whole song or a movie about you. Now you're gonna have to sit there and watch that shit and get your life together when you could have got it together by being supportive in the beginning. Even though shit wasn't blossoming then, but a lot of times people feel as though, oh, ain't shit going on over here. Watch it now. Watch it now. Man got a Sagittarius sun that's being activated by the full moon, which adds a whole cultural symbol. The Sagittarius teach a type of God energy returning to the stage. On top of the fact the motherfucker got a Gemini midheaven, Mercury dominant, Pluto dominant, a life path 5, a legacy that's literally built through language, wealth, ownership, and transformation, all mirroring the full moon's core themes anyway. That whole artwork is what I'm gonna call it. Was the perfect example of go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. Take note of those who sit there who feel as though, yeah, I'm gonna play in your face. No, the fuck you're not. At least not for as long as you thought you would. Matter of fact, they gonna play in your face as long as they thought they would. And it's at that very moment, tower moment, where that rug get pulled beneath their feet, and then they recognize, oh shit, yeah, you should have known who. This ain't no fucking parlay. You ain't gonna play no games over here. But anyway, I'm about to go live.